Do you recognize them? I'm sure you recognize, hey? Matt Damon, Julia Roberts. What's this guy? Yes. Yes. She's a bit older. Do you recognize? Yes. Okay, good. That's the only one, yeah. Me too. What do all they have in common besides being actors and actresses? They've used their celebrity to make a difference in people's lives, particularly her. She used to complain. She became a United Nations ambassador and used to work for the United Nations trying to develop peace around the world. But when anybody asked who Audrey Hepburn was, they used to remember the movie called, what's it? Sorry? Breakfast at Tiffany. The other one that I was thinking about was based on Pygmalion, My Fair Lady. Well done. And that's what they remembered her for, not the good work she did. And that's a real shame. What's this got to do with academia and what we're doing here today? Well, I believe there's an element, and this is I come a bit controversial here, and I want to hear what the staff members think about this. There's an element of being a good academic that is similar to being an A-listed actress or actor. What am I talking about? Well, let me show you the comparison. Obviously, for them, it's developing a reputation, getting known, getting to be famous. Here, for the researchers, it's about developing your CV, about sharing your knowledge, getting known for what you do. So many of you might have heard about the rating process, the NRF rating process. Okay, the rating process is about the impact that you've made in your academic career. My example of that is, imagine you phone somebody in the world of chemistry. Remember, I did a PhD in chemistry. And you ask, do you know Rob Drennan? And they say, Rob who? I've made no impact. Nobody knows my work. It's not good for a rating, not good for an academic profile. Here's another one. It's about a public face. It's about their movies. It's also about public face. What I mean by Scopus, well, I can go to Scopus and these other databases and I can look up all the publications that an academic has. It's incredibly open. It's incredibly public. It's not a closed profession at all. It's incredibly public. And your reputation is built through those publications, just like the movies and the actors in them. They start small. Academics start small. They start as master's students. They start as PhD students. But they build this reputation until they become world leaders in their fields. These guys use publicists. We don't generally use publicists, but we know of some academics that are really good at getting themselves in the news, okay? And they do it really well. And sometimes it's frustrating, but sometimes they really do get out there and they know how to use the media for their benefit. But remember, it's sharing that bottle of wine, opening up that knowledge and letting it flow to people who need it. That's what it's about. These guys risk being in a bad movie and spoiling their reputation. Have you ever thought when you write, you write from your very inside, even though you're writing about a fossil, you're sharing your understanding. And if you get that wrong, it can damage your reputation very easily. Part of being an academic is dealing with that exposure, as it were, writing about from your deepest understanding of something. Very important, and it can go wrong. Outcome, fame. Outcome, impact. Do you think there is an analogy between the two? Have you ever thought you might be entering a very public space, being an academic? So I do need you to think about that. Here's some more faces.
That's an interesting thing that you impact there.
Yeah.
Because there are some scientists who go for fame.
Fame, yes.
And I think that's the wrong emphasis that
Yeah.
was putting on.
But may I use you as an example? Here's an A-rated researcher that's regarded as a world leader. How did you get like that, Bruce? Because people follow what you do. So you didn't go out and use the press and whatnot to make you famous or anything, but it's your writing, your research that influences people tremendously. Is that fair? Sorry, I'm putting him on the spot. So yeah, look, I'm not encouraging people to necessarily go and splash it all over the press, but its impact through good publications, through citations, etc., etc. As I said, this is controversial. This is my analysis. Some might not agree with me, but I think it's worth keeping it in the back of your head. Okay, certainly don't think the world of academia is private and in your office and nobody knows about it. Peer review, publishing, it's all about getting out there. If not on the movies, at least in your field of research. Some more faces. Who recognizes this guy? Yeah? Bill Gates, yeah? What's her name? I've forgotten. Yes? Do you recognize her? She... yes, Margaret Stewart. She did television about cooking and home improvement and whatnot, became very famous and ended up going to jail because of, what was it? Yeah, absolutely. But hugely successful entrepreneur. Of course, we all recognize him. This is Herman Mashaba. Okay, very, very influential and successful entrepreneur here in South Africa. So, why do I show those? Well, what do they all have in common? Often people shout out, rich. Yes, that's true. But they're all very, very successful entrepreneurs. What's that got to do with what we hear today? I believe there's a parallel between being an entrepreneur and being an academic. Let's look at the parallel. So, they see an opportunity. You see a key research question. Very similar. Lots of opportunities out there, not all of us see them. Lots of research questions out there, not all of us see them. They hire labor to get their businesses going. What do academics do? They go and recruit good students like most of you guys are. They need plant and equipment to make iPhones or whatever it is. We often need research equipment. They need capital. We need funding. Where do they get the capital from? They borrow it from banks, etc., etc. Where do we get it from? Funding agencies. Okay. They take a risk. It can all collapse and become bankrupt, etc., etc. We take a risk as well, because you go and publish something and people laugh at you, or, what's this person talking about? Nonsense. It's a risky business. It can all fall down. You'll find as well the academic career is not like a career in corporate world, this step and then you this step and then this step. You have to make your own way. You make your own way. I'll just tell you briefly about Helen Rees. Anybody heard of the name Helen Rees? Okay, Helen Rees is an academic here at Wits, and she works in the field of HIV and transmission and to mothers and whatnot. Very successful academic. She has a fully funded research team that she funds off soft money, writing grant proposals, getting funding, and she sustains this research team. My question to you is, how big do you think that research team is? 2 people? 5 people? Anybody offer a number? Leslie, you want to offer a number? 20?
I think it's actually quite huge. It's beyond 50.
Sort of 550. 550. She's occupied an abandoned hospital. Hillbrow Hospital was abandoned. She's renovated the whole hospital. Okay, she works in the field of HIV. Lots of funding all over the world. But still an entrepreneurial person like you've never seen before. She makes it happen. Okay, and that's a key component of being an academic, a successful academic. It's not going to happen for you. Nobody's going to show you what to do. You've got to make it happen. All right, so that's something I need you to bear in mind as well. Okay, so their outcome is profit. Okay, our outcome is knowledge. And which do you think is more long-lasting? Knowledge, eh?